Welcome everybody back to the ARC and the AG server. Today we will be talking about the Primal Fear mod and going through all the progression and talking about how to uh, how to get through the mod and how the progression works for those people who don't know. Primal Fear is a mod that is full of different types. You start out with toxic dinos, and we go all the way up into uh, chaos and spirit. And this here is our Primal Fear Primal Smithy. Everything you need for Primal Fear is in here. Some of the things that you will need while you're here is weapons. The best ones that I can see, it would be for Primal Pike. Make one of those to help knock dinos out. You can also make a long neck rifle, which I have here, and darts. You will be able to make Primal Fear darts with you can make the regular darts, and then there's also Primal Fear darts that can be made. Ammo. Um, we've got all the arrows. You can make arrows for the compound bow. So the types of arrows you have are the um, Tranquil Potent, and these I believe are for all the tiers. Um, we have the Primal Fear Potent, and then the next tier after that would be the Toxic, and then we have the Alpha Infused Toxic, the Apex Infused, we have the Primal Infused, and we have the Origin Infused. The Origin Infused is the most the strongest arrow that is in the game. This is the only Origin ammo you can actually use. You cannot make Origin bullets. They have removed that from the game a long time ago, which is very disappointing because everybody used the bullets for the longest time. So we need to be able to make this eventually. Um, to start off, though, your best bet is probably going to be the darts. You need empty shell casings to make them. Um, if you're ever in a need, you can also make the health darts. If you shoot a dino that you're trying to tame that's getting too low on health, um, it will give it its health back, which is a plus, so that way you don't kill what you're trying to tame. But it has also has a stimulant dart to wake them up, but it has all the same ones: the potent, the toxic, alpha, apex, and the primal. And the same with bullets. So as you can see, this one requires the empty shell casings to make these. And it only takes one toxic to make each one. Bullets are the same way, but the bullets require a primal rifle bullet. So you have to make a primal rifle bullet, which requires advanced sniper bullets, cementing paste, gunpowder, and metal. And then you just need the narcotic and the primal bullet to get whatever bullets you want. With the arrows, you need to make primal metal arrows, and as you can see, it takes quite a few things. A couple things we're missing to even make these right now is the polymer and obsidian. So we would have to go and find that eventually. Um, so that's the. There is the celestial blade and the demonic blade that can be um, made if you if you break down your celestial or demonic armor that you don't need, you can make those swords. Firearms. Here's where our primal fabricated primal sniper for their sniper bullets. Takes a little bit more stuff to make that, and we have one already that we found. We got lucky and got one. I will not be using this for some of the um, demonstration for at first here, but you've got a shotgun if you like using shotguns, and you also have a rocket launcher that shoots different rockets, which would be these rocket ammo right here. I've never used these, so yeah. You got primitive melee. This here is a torch you can make yourself. Takes 5 unknown substances, but you get this from a drop from one of the bosses. This is the ultimate tool. It does just about everything. And your ranged is our compound bow for our metal arrows. So, boss summoners. After we get through most of the tiers, we will have to start summoning bosses. They call it tier 2 because tier 1 is your primals. Tier 2 is your origins. You can spawn them yourself, or you can find them in the world and kill them and get the tokens. The second tier requires one of each of the tokens. For the Celestial Indom, if you make this and kill this one, you'll get a tameable summon where you can summon it in and knock it out and tame it. Same goes for the Demonic Reaper Empress. Alright. I don't see a lot of people doing these. You can find them out and about. The Chaos Guardian Summoner. If you summon this, as soon as it dies, it is supposed to instantly spawn in a tameable version of it for you to summon. If you're using AoE attacks, you will kill that tameable version just about instantly. So you have to be careful with that. There's the Chaos and the Spirit version, so you can get a Chaos or Spirit Wyvern. Whatever level spawns in as the boss will come in as the tameable version. That was tier 4. Tier 5 is where you start getting a lot more of the better stuff and costs a lot more. The Pecan the Creator, when you summon this one, he is a flying fish. He will drop an egg that you can actually make, and when you kill him, he is a tameable version. You can hatch it and use him to fly around and kill things. Also, when you kill him, you will get ascensions to ascend your celestial dinos to make them even more powerful. At this point, you also get from this boss, you get creator gear. That is the ultimate gear for Primal Fear. For them, it is unbreakable. You're still going to die, but it won't break. It doesn't take any damage, and it has an insane amount of armor. So it makes you a lot more resistant to damage. This one here is for when you kill this one, you get an egg as well for the Nova, the Destroyer. You also can tame this one, get the tameable version of it from the egg, and he is pretty strong as well. There is a fallen token that comes out, so you can make your descend your demonics. The demonics become fallens, and those have become strong as well. These two are also necessary to go to tier 6. Tier 6 is your Colossus bosses. You got your fire, lightning, caustic, and ice. Each one looks like requires a little bit different. It's the color of the feathers. It basically tells you what you're summoning. But you do need a lot of stuff. You need to be able to summon all of these to spawn in the Pecan's Revenge boss. This is the final boss. You need one of each of the medallions for that, and also souls and spirit orbs, and also artifacts. Now, when this one dies, you will get your club, and that club is kind of a multi-tool thing. It allows you to do. It's a pick, it's an axe, it does torpor, but it does so much damage in the server that it won't torpor anything basically. But it basically does millions of damage when you run around and hit things with it. So you can run around at that point and have fun just smashing things over the head and killing things. Alright, so consumables. We've got narcotics. The narcotics are needed for making the bullets, the arrows, and the darts. So you need narcoberry seeds, narcotic, and tintoberry seeds to make the potent narcotic. And then from there, in order to make the toxic narcotic, you need one potent narcotic, the two rare flowers, two mushrooms, and a toxic blood. At this stage, both these have to be made in order to get to these stages. So you need toxic narcotic and alpha blood to make it into a alpha infused. You need apex blood for this one, primal blood for this one, and origin blood from this one. The origin blood is obtained by killing origins. You get one origin blood, which it goes directly into your inventory when you kill an origin. Now we do have a an events that we do several times throughout the month. We try to do them once a week, and we spawn in origins. We spawn in all of the bosses on the server, so that way at higher levels than what you would get them at. So that way it's more of a challenge, and you get to be there with a whole bunch of people and killing stuff and getting rewards. Um, Tame helpers. Tame helpers are great if you're not using origin bullets and you knock something out. Don't want to wait for them to get hungry. You just give them one of these, and they basically start getting hungry faster. There's the wake up drug, is the primal stimulant. Antidotes. This is for the biovirus. The virus is that option has been turned off on the server, so you don't need to worry about that. Next thing is kibble. Here is your main progression for kibble. When you get in, and we're at the point now, you need to find a dinosaur egg. Any dinosaur egg will do. If you find a alpha or an apex egg just laying around, and while you're running around trying to find your base, pick it up, grab it, so that way you can hopefully get enough stuff in time to be able to make your toxic before the egg spoils. Um, Rock carrot is the only one you need for this one. That's not normal that picked up off of a bush. Rock carrots can be found in a couple different places. There's a spot over by the swamp, and there's also two places over in the highlands where you can find them. There are no build zones on our server, so if you do come and play, please do not build on that server in that area. Otherwise, an admin will ask you to take your base down and move it, because that is for everybody to use, so they can get their progression without having to sit there and pick bushes for hours trying to get seeds to be able to grow them. The next one after that is the alpha kibble. Alpha kibble needs citronelle. Now, citronelle is the one you will need to grow from seeds in order to do this. So after you get your after you find your toxic dino, at that point you'll get toxic eggs from them, which is what you need to make alpha kibble. But then you will also need to find citronelle seeds and um, basically make them so that you can get through this. Most of the other kibble tiers need citronelle. There is another way you can get them. You can get them also through the shop. We have our shop on the server. They are listed, I believe, as 1 or 2 points for one. At that point, you can buy a couple of them if you want to be able to get some of the kibbles. That is up to you. But eventually, you may want to have at least one farm plot. Depending on how much you're playing, if you're planning on progressing quickly, you're going to need several farm plots of each to um, to be able to get everything you need. But um, otherwise, you can just put one down. If you're leaving and come back the next day, you'll have quite a few of them available at that point. Moving on to the next tier is our elemental kibble tier. This one requires the alpha eggs from the alpha dinos you tame from the previous tier kibble. And this one you need Savor Root for. The nice thing about that is the Savor Root is also in the Highlands in 2 different spots, also with the carrots. So that would be 2 of them that you can actually go pick up and not plant if you don't want to have a large garden. All right. Most of your elemental is going to be found in the different areas. There's featherlights, there's griffins, and there's a couple other birds. I believe there's microraptors and um, the one flying bird that starts with an A. I'm not really can't remember how it's pronounced, but they all have either caustic, electric, fire, or ice in the name. You just need a female of one of those two that will produce eggs. Moving to the next tier is our apex tier. Apex now requires long grass. Long grass is one of the other ones you have to plant for. You make a garden, you plant the long grass seeds, and you'll get those through that way. It's the only way the easiest way to get them on any server. Also requires the elemental eggs. Another thing that a lot of these create as you get higher, as you can see, the previous tier requires cooked meat, cooked prime meat. Alphas require the regular cooked meat. So as you go up, you will need jerky as well. So you're going to need to be able to make jerky in a preservation bin. So that's something you might want to plan ahead. But that's otherwise most of the things are pretty common. You need the previous tier to be able to get the next tiered kibble. The next one is a special kibble. These ones here are just specialty ones. You do not need to tame these. Some people like them, some people don't. Um, there's a variety of them. There's the um, Malins, the Buffoons, and a few others. Not really sure if you want them or not, but they do requires the apex eggs, toxic and alpha eggs to make one. This one does not produce eggs for anything special, so you do not need to have them for the progression. Another one you don't need to have is the advanced elemental. The elemental advanced kibble needs feathers from all of the other creatures, the caustic, the electric, fire, and ice. Um, these ones will only give you elemental eggs. You don't get elemental advanced eggs, you just get elemental eggs. So if you decide to skip this tier, or you find a couple of eggs and you move past it quickly, you can always go back. If you have apex eggs, and you can get the elemental advanced. The elemental advanced is either the light or the dark dinos. So the most common ones are, I believe, there's featherlights and griffins are your most common ones that you find. But any of the other ones that were mentioned earlier that are in the elemental tier can come in as advanced elemental. All right. The next tier is the Omega tier. Omegas are not as easy to find. They're not as readily available. There's a few spots you can find them. Um, so this would be your next tier that you would need to be able to progress to the later stages. The next kibble after that is our fabled kibble. The most sought after dino in Primal Fear for fableds, I believe, is the fabled Therizinosaur. The fabled Theri will get um, a lot of stuff depending on which way you advance their harvesting. The harvest percentage that you put into them is 8% per point that you put into the secondary. When you hold E on them, there's a secondary harvest level that you can increase. That goes up by 8% each time. That helps you get blood, that helps you get hide, and it helps you get feathers, among other things. Um, at that point, you'll be able to get a lot of different things, a lot of berries. So you'll basically never need berries again. You out and kill a bunch of dinos. You get your hide for making your saddles for your different tiers. It's one of the better ones to do. Otherwise, you can use any fabled to get you your fabled eggs. Then the next tier will be our celestial tier. Celestial tiers needs a little bit of everything. It needs all of the vegetables, the savor root, the rock carrot, long grass, and citronelle, and it needs all the feathers as well. So it's quite extensive what you need for it. The same goes with the demonic kibble. So both of these require the same thing. Just depends on which one you want to tame, which one you're trying to tame. You do need celestial eggs and demonic eggs for making a few other things, so you do want to tame a couple of each. But these are the ones that you can use your ascension tools on when you beat those bosses of that tier. And these are the two stronger tiers in the normal progression. So we have a boss tier, Boss tier is like the dragon, the manticores, the spiders, broodmothers. Those they have a progression to them as well. This one here requires boss essence, so you have to be able to kill the bosses before you can actually make boss kibble. So, in that, and you also need an artifact to make these. So, with that being said, we need to knock out a boss, the regular boss, because you're gonna need boss eggs. This one, of course, the basic tier doesn't require that. You just need to get all the stuff you need for it. It's not very difficult. But moving on to the next one, you do need the boss eggs. You need 5 of them. And it requires a few more things. It also requires alpha kibble. So and once you get past the first stage, the second stage is a little more extensive for how much it costs. And also the apex tier as well. Because if you want to get, there is a chaos and a spirit tier. If you want to make those, you need spirit orbs, and you need the apex eggs, among other things. Demonic or celestial eggs. So that is the boss tier. Chaos, in order to tame any normal chaos that's not in the boss tier, you need a chaos orb. This requires quite a bit of kibble. You need one of each of the kibble, an elemental kibble, fabled eggs, origin blood, primal blood, demonic eggs, and celestial souls. And then the spirit one is the kind of the opposite soul is all you need, and the opposite eggs. The Reaper King, you can tame them, getting the um, Reaper King stew, and the Reaper Queen. You need the essence for that. So that is the kibble tier. There is a repellent on here for the Queen Reaper repellent. But Primal Fear potions. We have Primal Fear food. This Primal Fear food basically recovers all your food. Does not work on players, so only on the dinos. The reason why they have that is because I believe, I'm not sure if all of these do, but I know for a fact the Fabled one does, and the highest tier one does as well. That you get from killing primals. There's a primal health potion. This primal health potion recovers all their health quickly, um, and removes all their food. But we also have the fabled one you can get with fabled blood, apex for the apex blood, and the alpha blood for this one. And then here's your standard healing stew. So your structures, you do have you do have turrets. I don't recommend using them. If you want to use turrets, I recommend using the S+. The damage is actually increased on those to help protect your base. The forges, we've been having some issues with these forges not making anything, so I would not recommend using those forges. Um, we have armor. There's the celestial armor you can make. Most of the time, these actually drop from time to time from different specific dinos. We have miscellaneous primal gas masks. We have shields. Celestial Shield, and there's Metal. There's Primal, which is supposed to help you more with the Primal. The armor level's higher at 400. Apex is 300. You need each of the hides to make those, and this one's 200. These will break when you make them and you wear them. They'll break, and they're not grindable. Now the primal ones, I believe, may not break. I'm not sure. I do know that the origin gear that you get from killing the origins randomly is not breakable. Last thing is all of our saddles. We have the Spirit and Chaos Wyvern needs Celestial Souls and Demonic Souls. Needs a variety of things to make those. And as you can see on there, my wife is in my tribe. She is killing dinos that she's gotten from eggs to get hide. Demonic, most of them require quite a bit of demonic hide. The higher ones being 750 for the most part is the highest. So all the hide you get from all the other ones gets you everything you need in here for whichever you need. The saddles for the spirit ones require celestial souls, and the chaos tier needs demonic souls for those. And here is the 5 tiers, 5 different types of dinos you can get from the elementals. There's a legendary Pegasus. If you've played with Pegasus before, it gives you the ability to level him up with kills, and then you can ascend or descend them into a stronger version of it. It's pretty cool, nice looking. But anything you need for the saddles for Primal Fear stuff is in here, including the boss saddles. Just remember, the boss saddles do require 100. The Chaos ones require 100 boss essence, and the vanilla ones require 20. And I believe that is everything from Primal Fear. Hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the most of the Primal Fear mod, and I will be back on another episode to continue my progression and starting to do the progression through the tiers in Primal Fear. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time.